All right, three, two, one. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing, boys and girls? Let's get this started. Get this pushed to the Book of Faces. And then we'll get things going here. Oh, boy. Okay. Come on, post. Share. Okay. And let's do the doobly-doo and get the thing going. Alan, good morning. How are we doing today, brother? Get chat loaded in. So, y'all, it's been a long week. And is it live? It is live. All right, let's fade over. Alan, doing any projects on the books for you recently? Oh, and you'll be interested in this. I actually found out the main issue I was having with the sword cane, and why it like self-destructed on me. It was the wood that I was using, the hickory, having it channeled out and laminated like that. Even though it's just sitting in an office, the wood movement will build up a lot of excess tension and just blow itself apart and start twisting around. And the funny thing is, it also will not accept standard screws. So even though I glued and screwed the spring mechanism, it was doomed from failure from the start. So live and learn, I guess. So I got the new sword almost done. Got some it's maple. Got a nice flame finish on it. And the sword comes in and out nice and easy. Just the smallest bit of hesitation, and it pulls nice and free, which is gorgeous. I did a flame finish. It's kind of hard to see. I mean, I tried taking pictures of it and stuff too, and it just, even pictures don't really do it justice. It has to be seen in person. But I did a flame finish, sanded it with up to 400 grit, and then did a thick layer of tung oil. And I need to turn that volume down because I'm getting messages. Thick layer of tung oil from somewhere. Ooh, carving that onto a paddle. Gorgeous. And considering making this hilt. Ooh, dude, that would be fantastic. Let me see if I can. Oh man, I always loved the swept hilt with the two Fanquillians, but that one also has that thing. Oh man, that is gorgeous. And the two-piece hilt on itself with that spacer block. Oh, Yeah. So yeah, I did a tung oil finish, super super heavy, um, just so it really soaked into the burned wood, and then I polished the whole thing with a butcher block conditioner, which is mineral oil and beeswax, and it is smooth and deliciously black and shiny. I'm very happy with how this is starting to turn out, as opposed to the last one. Let me get that up on screen so people can see what we're talking about. Where's my messenger? There it is. So you'd be carving that onto a paddle, which that's gonna be nice. I can't wait to see how that one turns out. And this hilt, which, let's zoom in so people can actually kind of sort of see what you're talking about. Now, what materials are you planning on making it out of? The carving is inspired by a new friend. Ooh, love making new friends. Yeah, that is going to be one gorgeous piece. I've never been brave enough to attempt something like that yet. See, because I would actually want to make that all out of one piece. And yeah, I'm not brave enough for that. I know that's the cross guard that I'm talking about. But whew. I actually want to set aside some time this year, instead of doing just straight commission pieces, going to and doing some skill exercises where I do attempt something a little crazy, a little hard. And yes, I am going to be eating a nice chocolate bunny this morning. So, crunch bunny. Because I'm fat, it's been a hard week, and self-care is important, or something. So I got a few interesting commissions I need to start working on. Yeah, that's a very nice hilt. But I definitely need to work on doing some stuff that'll just expand my base and get me more out there. So I did find I'm looking at my Patreon now, and the whole Name the Laser contest has been over for a little while, and there was no winner. It was the Big Nasty, Dave, and Laser McLaserface. So we're gonna go with Dave. Normally I like having my electronics. This dates back to when I was a kid, and it's just been a naming convention I've had for the rest of my life, because I guess that's how I function. From Red vs. Blue, which is a fan-made show of Halo, using the video game. And in one episode, in like the first season or second season, they get a tank, a Scorpion tank, but the tank has AI in it. AI's female, Sheila. It's like 40-part joke, and ever since then, everything that is static, like hammers, anvils, the suit of armor outside my shop, has all had male names. Everything that had electronics had female names. Got it. Not for any sexist reason. It's just that was my first formative introduction to male-female naming conventions, because you know, a mug is a mug. It's not male or female in my brain. But from there, special objects got names, and because of that, oh, there you go. So we're going to go with Dave, because I think it's funny. Let's see. She's the alliance leader for a game I'm playing, and found out she's on a certain site as well. Interesting. I like certain sites. Oh, humanity. Makes things interesting. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So I don't know about you, but whenever I have like chocolate bunnies and stuff, for some weird messed up reason, I always start at the ears. Maybe because that looks like the most biteable size or whatever, but since I was a little kid, I always started at the ears. It's funny, no matter how clean I get this space, it always devolves like that into chaos. The character picture I sent with the hilt is the character picture I sent with the hilt I'm planning is from the game. Nice. Myths of Moonrise. I'm getting very heavy vampire vibes. Red eyes, you know, bat as a belt buckle, long red fingernails. Am I hitting right? But even that Gorgier and Spalder would be fun to make. And the jewelry she's wearing, like the vambrace and even that I don't know what you call that. The thing on the back of her hand. What would you call that? Because it's not a bracelet. Bracelets go around here, but it's going like across her palm and the back of her hand, and it looks like it's attached to a ring. It looks like it has an amulet on it or something. It's attached to a ring on the middle finger. That would be very interesting to do. And now that I have this this laser here kind of dialed into not just the laser dialed in, but also the whole process for making engraved brass and copper and stuff, and blackening it and doing the darkening back and forth. I could actually make that vambrace if I found better pictures of the art. you'd have to model it in paper first, you know, around whoever's arm it's going to be, because you have to build the whole thing flat and decorate the whole thing flat, and then conform it. And here's the method I've been using, because it doesn't need to be a secret. What is under here? You spray paint the whole thing, you know, all sides, after you have the shape cut out. You throw that into the laser printer, or into the laser cutter. You burn away the paint and clean it really well. And then I threw it into an etchant solution that is 1 part muriatic acid and 2 parts hydrogen peroxide. You get that mixed in, and you throw a couple pieces of copper, maybe a piece of iron in there as an oxidizer to get everything kicked off. That stuff etches clean and deep. Slave ring bracelet. Interesting. And then from there, you know, clean it all, you know, off very well to I think it's copper chloride that it makes. Anyways, you get everything cleaned off very well, and then I come back with I don't have it here, I have it at the shop, brass black, which is a chemical darkening solution. I put brass black on it, then I put it into the acetone to strip off all the paint. Then I brass black it again after cleaning it, and then I go back with super high grit sandpaper and remove the blackening on the very surface of the metal, so you have that nice two-tone detail. And then from there, you'd have to roll the edges and form the rest of it. Resining Arts and Crafts. Good morning, all. Good morning, Ken. How we doing today, brother? So yes, I am going with, for the laser cutter, I'm going with Dave. I was hoping, you know, Leona or Aurora would really work. Leona was nice, but Aurora would be good. Still waking up, got up late. Well, from the Friday you had, I could see why you'd be getting up a little late, even 2 days later. That was awful, dude. I mean, I was giggling and joking about it, but that is a terrible way to end your week. For those of you who don't know, he blew out his tire like an hour away from home, and you were stuck on the side of the road for what, like 5 hours, 6 hours trying to get the whole situation resolved? Dude. And Alan going to be spending the day on the boat fishing. Nice. That is a great way to have your weekend. I need to start taking little man fishing. I mean, I wouldn't let him have an actual hook. I just put a weight on the bobber. 10 miles from home, 5 hours. Yikes. Yikes, that sucks, dude. But, you know, go out fishing myself with him, and then, you know, let him reel a fish in every now and then. I'd unhook it for him, give him the fish to release. I think it'd be fun. A little father-son bonding time, because I don't get enough of that. He's with me all the time. Ugh. That's better. I need like a new pillow or something for my bed. My neck has been killing me for like 3 days, 4 days. This happens kind of often, to the point where it's becoming a problem. I also need to stretch more, but I also need to work out and eat healthier, so yeah. How's that going? Love me some chocolate. So I'm thinking of, no, this is just a thought that's going in my head. That earring pack that I got. I reduced the size to half because I think they look better. You know, this is full size, and these are two different sets. I just blindly grabbed one. This is half size. So I think the half size looks better for earrings. It also cuts way faster. It's more economical. Blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking of actually taking those same earrings and doubling the size Eileen, good morning. Of doubling the size and then inlaying them with resin. And selling those as necklaces for like, you know, $5. So, because then you can get a set. You can get the nice necklace and have the matching earrings. What do y'all think about that? I think it's a great idea. So Eileen, I've been seeing you've been posting a lot on Facebook about, you know, doing all these adventures and stuff. That's awesome. Do you have any projects on your plate? Anything coming up? Because you usually have some really cool projects to do too. All three of you do. What am I saying? Gotta make each individual viewer feel special. Let's see. But yeah, so I have to build a sword in the stone for somebody. I have to do a special credenza for somebody. Resin arts. How about attaching the smaller one to the bottom of the larger one and making a dangling earring? Ooh, that'd be cool. And projects, no. I've been struggling mentally, so all crafting projects are on hold. I totally get that. And to be honest, if this wasn't my full-time thing, I would probably be in that same boat. And resin arts. That would be cool. However, a lot of them aren't shaped that way. And for the price point that they're selling at, I would actually most likely end up losing money at that point, which no one likes to do, unfortunately. But having everything in this new store down in what you call it, Craven and Casters, down in Blakely. Yeah, I think it's Blakely, right near the Anchor there. It is working out very well for me. It's like every week I'm getting money now. And a lot of it's like, you know, $20 here, $7 there, but the work's done. The product has been sitting around, so it's very nice to have just that little trickle coming in. But yeah, I have to do Sword in the Stone. I need to figure that out. I need to do a credenza. I need to figure that out. I need to do a bed for upstairs because that's been on hold for too long, and there's grumbling. There's very not happy grumbling. Eileen, I'll be in next weekend to see family, so I'll bring the cricket. Oh, awesome. Possibly selling my cup turner. Oh no, why? I thought you were doing a lot with that, or is it just not making the revenue that you thought it would, and you're turning away from that? Because if you don't want to talk about it here, that's fine. But it seemed like that was a pretty good one for you. Or maybe you're upgrading. Because it seems like something like that you can only do at scale if you're going to be trying to make money off it. And 3 at a time isn't really that, especially if they have to turn for that long. Resident Art, speaking of S&S, I have 2 concrete drill bits if you need them for that rock. Thank you. I'm going to be leaving that up to the customer if he actually wants if he actually wants an actual stone, or if he wants something that is if he wants something that's cast, some sort of concrete or something. And 2 foot. Ooh, nice. That'll definitely get the depth I need. Eileen, with work and not having time to do crafts, I'm putting on hold any business or sizing and just returning to doing it for fun. Mentally, there's a lot of stuff I'm going through. I can understand that. And you'll never progress if you burn yourself out to the point where you can't even walk into the room again. So I think that is an excellent thing for you to do. I am kind of in sink or swim mode at this point, so I don't really have a choice, because either this or go back to working in industry. And I mean, here's the thing, I wouldn't actually have a problem going back to industry, working with engineers or working for an architect or something again, if I made enough money that my entire paycheck wasn't going towards paying for gasoline and paying for either a babysitter or for a little man to go into some sort of daycare or something. Because that was really the point where I had to leave my last job, is I wasn't making enough money to, like, I wasn't even going to break even monetarily. So I was losing money going to work. Even if I sat home, I was losing money. So, but nothing in this area, or even remotely in this area, would pay enough. So I'd have to move either, out by you guys, Missouri, but there's other things that are preventing that. So. But if you want to talk later, Eileen, you can feel free to call me and vent, go off, whatever. So yeah, I need to, I think the first thing I need to start doing is get sketches out to people and get things approved, because until these swords are done and the railings are done in the church, I cannot accept any new work, unfortunately. That doesn't involve me sitting at home. Yeah, but that's a rough position to be in. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have been getting. Now, I'm on Reddit, um, and I have been getting an obnoxious amount of porn bots following me. And it's getting to the point where I'm even considering just deleting the app altogether. Eileen, it much to go off about, just struggling with how life is right now. I can feel a change coming soon, just not sure the change. Possible move or all over career change. Yeah, I remember you were saying about moving to a different state, and I think that's not necessarily a bad idea. You'd be further away, and that would suck, and I'd miss you even more because then the ability to see you drops significantly. Um, but I get it. If I could, I would have a very drastic move coming up as well. But yeah, things can get rough. Let's see. Oh, I also need to make a set of wedding rings very soon. Let me, because I can't forget about that. I need to start writing stuff down. And that's actually one of the reasons I have this blank space here, next to all my my strips, my French cleats I have on here on this wall, and so I can actually have a roster of projects. I just don't have it set up because my idea is to have clipboards and have a clipboard that has a page for each job that I need to do in order. And that clipboard would come with me everywhere. So when I'm home, it would come in here. So, all my leather projects, or projects that involve leather work, I can see it right here. I know exactly what I'm doing. No guesswork. If I go to the shop and, I know I'm not mixing things up. I'm not forgetting people or screwing things over. That's a hard one for me to do. It's also hard for me to keep and stay organized. I want to get diagnosed for ADHD. There's not a doubt in my mind that I have it. But what I am struggling with is, speaking of mental health, because you brought it up, is a lot of people I know, they once they start taking medication for it, their productivity skyrockets, but their creativity and that side of their brain diminishes. And I'm not sure which. I know it's not an on-off thing, but where's that line? I don't know. And it to be honest, it kind of terrifies me. I don't like taking medication for anything if I don't absolutely have to begin with. So I don't know where to go or how to deal with that. So, yeah. But I need to make some sort of permanent change myself coming up very soon. And like I said, I'm not sure which path I'm going to go down or how I'm going to do it yet. but it's one of many things that needs to happen. I think the first thing I need to do is go on a cleaning binge. I did it at the shop a few weeks ago. The shop is already trashed again, but I took out like 5 bags of garbage from the shop. Things that I decided I am never going back to that project. It was a for fun project. The fun has left it. Get rid of it. Burn it. Whatever. Or this is obsolete. I have 5 of these tools. I only need 1 backup, really. Let's get rid of the other 3. Stuff like that. Getting rid of old paint, sweeping, cleaning, burning scrap that's honestly too small to use. And for a few days, it felt great. I was even able to get rid of one of the cabinets. I want to get rid of both of the cabinets for other reasons. It's hard to talk about without you seeing the space. But if I get rid of both cabinets, then I get wood storage. I can build a rack, get all the wood stored, move things around a little bit, and really start pumping things up. But it's also, I have deadlines. I have to get things done in a reasonable amount of time for people. And my 2 big projects from last year, that window of reasonable finish date is rapidly closing. But I saw how good the shop felt with it cleaned and organized. So now it's like very not enjoyable to actually work, which is very kind of depressing. And even in here, when I had things cleaned and cleaned off, like my leather table's still relatively clean. I need to get this out to the shop to help organize. I'm not sure if I'm going to put jewelry stuff in here or if I'm going to have this for all my electronic stuff. Because I also want to do the Spartan project, which I'm having a slight change of heart on how some things are going to go, but not that big. That was very vague. That can be its own whole dedicated video. And there's one guy I watch who actually does all this stuff, but instead of physically making everything himself, he does the prototyping out of plastic or cardboard, then models everything in 3D, then ships everything off to get it the individual pieces constructed. He brings them back and assembles things. And he is doing way more intensive stuff than my goal. But I think my goal is a little bit more achievable and might be more commercially viable especially for the how things are going in the world right now. That is kind of vague and ominous too. I need to shut up about that. But that project needs to really get off the ground. Eileen, just curious, what is a cup? Actually, yes, that is a great question. So I actually know what this is. It looks like 3 foam footballs stuck on a stick coming out of a block of wood with a switch. And it is for doing resin cups, like tumblers and stuff, that have to dry slowly and evenly. So it rotates everything, all 3 of those foam footballs slowly. So you pop, pop, pop. You buy your tumblers, you put all your stuff on them that you want to, and then pop, 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 pop. And then you're able to put your resin on there, and it slowly turns everything so that you get a nice, good, even cure. So Ken, that might actually be something you might want to talk to her about, or talk to her through me about, if you intend on expanding your resin stuff a little bit more. That's the perfect explanation of what the turner is. Thank you. So yeah, it's the pop, pop, pop. Yeah. But I think it's 3 that you can do at a time with that cup turner. If I remember, or was it 4? 5? Why did I have 3 in my head? But I think if you want to do something like that, I think 5, that small thing you have there is great for small production runs, which that's actually the level you're at right now. But in my mind, if you wanted to do it, to actually do it, because I have a 5, a 4, and a single turner. Huh. I remember you had the single one. But in my mind, you have to have a bank of them. Like, 5 by 5. And do batch runs of 25 identical ones at the same time. And I think each one would have to have like a tray, like a drip tray, that you can slot in and remove between each layer. So you'd work on the bottom ones that has the tray on it. Then to protect those, you'd have that turned on. You pop in the tray to the second layer, pop your things on, do that, turn that one on, pop, 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 pop. I don't know. That's just what goes on in my mind. I am very good at mentally scaling things and going through processes. That's just one of those weird little talents I have. And looks like everything has just seriously dropped my frame rates. Interesting. But yeah, that's where, my mind heads. You're moving in slow motion. Not sure if it looks like it's on my end, because I am streaming right now at 15,000 kilobytes per second. I don't know why. 19,000, 16, 19, 15. All right, looks like we're green again. Okay. Yeah, just one of those things that I'm very good at scaling things in my head and getting processes together. Like the first time I realized this was with my buddy Ben. He wanted to make a bunch of boomerangs, but he didn't have enough time to cut all the boomerangs out himself. So he subcontracted me, and he said, I'll give you $0.25 per blank. However you do it, as long as it looks exactly like this. And he gave me his piece. So, okay, yeah, sure, let's do this. And I got it to the point where I was cutting out six boomerangs every 3 minutes. That's what? Let's just do the math on that real quick. So that's $1.50, and 6 minutes is times 10. That's $15 an hour. That was like 10 years ago. No, I was doing them every 3 minutes. So that's actually times 20. So yeah, that was $30 an hour like 10 years ago. Not bad. It was funny because I actually got a loan from him to buy a better jigsaw, and he actually wanted me to slow down because I was producing so fast that he couldn't keep up on his end. So I went around and figured out how to completely automate his side of things. Not completely automate it, but buy a router, get a special bit commissioned to get the right angle on all the boomerangs that you cut out. So you just run it through, flip it, run it through, and you have a stack, and then you switch because there's 2 different facets to the blade shape. So you run it through on one for the whole stack, switch the bit, run it through whole stack on the other, and he was only selling them for like $7 a piece. But $5 of that was his labor, because he had a drum sander and he was hand sanding the facets onto each blade. And he got really good at it, but it was still taking a massive amount of time. So that's when I figured out how to do this whole thing for him. And I had wished it would have worked out. And that was my first real introduction to I have so many windows open on my phone. Getting things together in scale, which that was a ton of fun. I really wish he had gone through with my suggestions. But he also didn't have the money to buy a router and a table, and getting special router bits are like, you can go down to the store and get a router bit for $20 to $60. A special one would be $200, $250. So he'd be in it for over $1,000 before he even saw a penny coming back. And he didn't have much money at the time, so I understand why he didn't. I even got it to the point where I designed him a special logo stamper so that he could just sit there and stamp all his logos, so they would all be perfect every single time, so it would look like it's a machine production. And no, it was just a guy with a thing. I love telling that story. And so yeah, and I was actually going to start working on a project, but we got talking, and really this whole coffee with Night thing is to sit here and chat with you guys and drink some coffee and trying to wake up for the day. I think it's a great way to end the week too. Just sit down, chat, account, bullshit, touch base with some people that actually care and I enjoy talking with. Like you nuts. But so yeah. So if you're gonna do, it might be good for you, Ken, to buy that buy the Turner or Turners off of Eileen, just to get into that, because then you can do custom things, or even you can have your wife do them, because doing those fine custom art things would be very fun for her. Or you could just buy a ton of stickers and sticker them all up, put on some clear coat resin and just go over them. Could be a lot of fun for you. Could be a lot of fun for her, and it could be profitable. Eileen, what were you selling them for? Like 20 some bucks a pop, and you can get the actual tumblers rather cheap. I think you just have to sand them or something. So if you get get one of those things on like a drill, like one of those connections on a drill, so you could just quickly sand each one, with a piece of sandpaper, and attach all your stuff and do your thing like that. So I think it's so the resin has some tooth to bite into. You could really get yourself going pretty well there. Sounds like the youngling's awake. I'll have to go grab him in a moment. But yeah, so I think I've made the decision. The laser cutter is going to be named Dave. I have the googly eyes already. I wish there was a definitive winner. 35 to 45. Really? Wow. That's pretty nice. But, so yeah, I mean, if you had a whole bank of them and you did a bunch of them all at once, in my mind, it's a lot more economically viable than doing, 1 to 5 at a time. But then you'd probably have to drop your price a little bit because you're doing them in bulk, but your cost also drops significantly. So, yeah, things and stuff, stuff and things. My hair is a little unruly. I can't wait till it gets a little bit longer so I can put a nice braid in it and just leave it for a couple days. This is like the worst stage. This is why I wear these hats all the time. It's not for fashion. Keeps me a little bit cooler because it helps wick all the moisture off of me, and it keeps my hair under control, which is the main reason I wear them. But I like having long hair, so I guess it is slightly for fashion. I mean, if I didn't care at all what I looked like, I'd probably just have my head cut short all the time. Speaking of fashion, I really need to get on making my kilts, because it is now summertime. The last 2 days at the shop were 89 and 92 respectively. So I definitely need to figure out how to do kilts. I do have one very nice dress kilt. You can't see it. It's on the other door behind that corner over there. But yeah, some like nice utility kilt type designs. Maybe I could even sell that sort of thing. T-I-L-I, Utila. Because I mean, maybe not. Like $100 a pop, $65 a pop. So I don't know if I can make one that is. Let's actually go to the name brand. The Mocker. Alright, so that's a, oh, it's out of stock. But, alright, yeah, so that's like a Docker style. Looks like it has pockets too, that's kind of cool. But that's not what I'm looking for. Spartan. $215 each. They're nice. That's a lot of money. So that is very nice. 6.5 cotton poly. So the thing is, I want something that is no synthetic material, because even these shirts, even though I wear and my pants, you can see it really bad on my pants, like on my knees and stuff, right below the hemline of my apron, all chewed up from fire, from grinding, little sparks that fly off. Um, I'm not really concerned about my bare skin, really, so that's why wearing a kilt is no issue to me, even working in a forge. But having my shoes burnt through because from sparks flying down and then the plastic melting to my skin, that sort of thing is no, it's not going to work. Now, all right, the Workman, 12 ounce, 100% cotton duck cloth. That's what I need, but not for 260 bucks. Maybe I can sell these. I don't know. But I mean, they do look very handsome. And there is a nice variety of colors. But I'm thinking like, a kilt kind of this style, plus the nice Jacobite shirt that I wear, which is cotton linen. Very nice, very, very sleek looking. It would look very good. And be very comfortable. And that's half the reason I'm doing it, is for comfort. Because I'm sick of being too hot, too sweaty to actually enjoy working. This says 7 or 12 ounce duck cloth. I don't know if I need 12 ounce, but I don't know. You should cut your hair like, well, that would make many people cry if I cut my hair like that. The reason I cut his hair is because he doesn't know when to stop. He does not listen to his body. And especially with the days coming up like they are, I'm very worried about heat exhaustion or stroke. Because even in the winter, he would run outside and his face would be all blue. He'd be shivering. His fingers would be turning blue, and he'd still fight me to go inside. And with the way these winters are shaping up, I can't have him like that with this summer. However, I do know when to listen to my body. I do know when to call it quits, and I do know to drink excessive amounts of water when it's summertime. And Red Bull. Let's not kid ourselves. I drink a shit ton of Red Bull. To the point where they would lose money if they sponsored me. But, so yeah, I'm definitely going to do, at least make 2 or 3 kilts. We'll see how and if it's viable for me to sell them. Because that's a big part of consideration that I need to take as well. But yeah. So that's also on the cutting board, is getting those kilts, getting a couple more shirts, and all of those projects. The sword and stone, I also have a Bowie knife, I have a credenza, I have a bed. So as soon as I get done with these projects, the swords and the railings, I need to jump right on those. Then I need to jump into doing electrical work. So a lot of stuff to do this summer. My summer's already booked. My summer's booked out already, which is great. That's a great feeling to have. But I also want to set time aside to do the Spartan project, and to try 3 or 4 things that are completely off the wall projects for me, like doing that cross guard and that hilt for a sword, those sorts of things. So that's our hour. This hour flew by. So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I love all my patrons. I'm sorry we couldn't come to a conclusion on the name, and I had to just arbitrarily choose one of the 3 that you guys chose. But that's how it shook out. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for making this world better, one kerf at a time, and I'll see you all next week.